Hello, and what is going on, you guys? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. Welcome to 2022 for the live summit event in the Crew 2. Today, we're going in to take on Racetrack, a themed summit and features events and activities that are for the most part dedicated to track racing. With 6 events, we'll be doing some pro racing disciplines like touring car and Alpha Grand Prix disciplines will be ready to start out to be on the track. With episode 3 of live Xtreme Series to be featured with 3 types of disciplines, we'll be doing a triathlon. 3 skills we'll be using on any land-based vehicle to be taking a good role as a qualifier before we can enter 6 events we'll be get settled in to do some good organized strategies. For only 2 cars to be in the bundle presentation will be not included because I've already got the Pagani Sana R to be on the touring car discipline and a KTM Expo R to be in the Alpha Grand Prix discipline to be participate to be in the Golden Hills. So get yourself ready, you guys. Choose your any kinds of race car to be on pro racing and head on over to the track. So if you're new to my YouTube channel, go and click the subscribe button, then leave a like and comment at the section down below, and don't forget to check the links on the description if you really want to see more. Feel free to enjoy it anytime you want for the entertainment. Now it's time to get ready to start the live summit event, and let's begin. Last event from New Year's Eve was a big blast. So I finally got everything to be in the 4 reward category to be in the platinum. Rank 6,924 place is going to be quite good out there to celebrate the party from 2021, and we look forward on to 2022 in January. So that means the Green Flash edition of the Porsche Carrera GT is now added to the collection along with the star-shaped smoke to be in the comment. Alright, so I hope everything goes well out there to have 4 different rewards to be moving on for this year. It's going to be quite good to get the Spearhawk semi-slick tire to be on the rare. But luckily, my commentary might have to get a little bit more puberty because I'm about to be more mature. But anyway, folks, so let's get ready to go over to take 3 skills as a qualifier to do the warm-up until I'll be ready to start out on 6 events. First up, we're going in to be on the Little Eagle for the Solemn course. Now for this part of the clip, because entered over onto the pits by having a parking position is going to be quite giving a good brilliant. So recommended to be using with the KTM 1190 RCA R-Track with the UDRS InSportTech motorbike is going to be quite suitable to have a good different changes onto the FX. So let's get ready to go over onto the road course section, onto the Little Eagle Speedrome. Stall them around the gate. Keep a good slow and steady and putting up with some good lean skill. So I'm putting up with some more lean affixes for the touring bikes. It will be quite good to be well improved. There you go. Just gonna have to stay steady. Maintain in formation. Alright. Finally got it. Almost there to be reached up onto 30,000. Hairpin I go and hit the nitro to be at the finish line. Alright. First part of the warm-up session of the qualifying is complete. Let's see the outcome activity performance. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. 100,000 points to be added by over 50,000. That would be quite good to have the first warm-up to do the Solemn. Next up, going escape to be at Golden Hills Racetrack. Having different role of qualifying depends on which type of vehicle in disciplines besides pro racing is definitely might be well eligible to participate. So I have to go with a rally raid to be using with a Pescia 3008 DKR Maxi was a very good choice vehicle to be part of the Icon level 300. So I have finally got it because this vehicle is very good, well capable to be driving around onto the off-road area. So let's get ready to try this Rally Raid SUV vehicle out. Perfect spot to be in the most good position to be at the go. Alright, let's get ready to see how it turns out. Okay, let's go and drive away. Reach over by 1,000 yards. That would be a very good idea by choosing this off-road area. Alright, just gonna have to kick up onto the nitro. Main objective complete. There's the hill. Gonna have to keep going up. Keep on driving to have a good place to have an open view. There you go. Over 2,000 yards. Gonna have to kick it up onto the high gear. Sorry about that tree. Just gonna keep driving. The red zone is coming in, folks. 3,000 yards. Cross through onto the road. Almost there. 4,000. Finally, got it in. Added by 188 yards. Very good to have a first roll of the main approach is definitely might be turned perfect. Well, maybe sort of. Definitely not perfect. So, alright, so just gonna have to go over on to attempt number 2. Rally raid is very good to do the opposite side, so let's see how I could probably have to do well on hypercars. That would be much faster, besides rally raid is going to be quite good to be on the off-road area. Time to switch over on to the Bugatti Depot. Alright, there you are, White Star with the UDRS livery. So I'm about to choose you. And then, putting up a new clip, we'll be doing a staging point to be on the radius outside the track. So here I go for attempt number 2. Let's see how I can probably have to do the asphalt by taking the opposite direction. Okay, drive away. Just gonna have to follow the main ghost line. Kick it up onto the high gear. It will have to go off-road, so better have to make sure to keep up onto the high speed. Okay, trees incoming. Very good performance. Now, let's aim for the bridge. Okay, there you go. Time to take the right side. Enter to the highway towards Las Vegas. The red zone is coming in towards me. Quick, faster. Staying over onto the highway. Come on. Reached up onto 5,000. There you go. Looks like 5,405 yards. Very good average performance. But it might have to do some more exercise workouts. But a new record is doing an A-OK. Talk about having practice makes perfect in qualifying number 2 on skills. So let's see how speed trap number 3 to be in the skill is going to be taking place on Seaside. Time to go for drag race. So I've been working on with a brand new UDRS livery from the Rallycross edition of the Chevy Camaro SS in the 2010 model. For this match, it's perfectly well fitted onto the drag race edition. Is going to be quite putting up with some different vanities. Is going to be well painted. By the look of it, it's going to be quite good painted to be on the underglow and the tires, including the smoke as well. So, time to get ready to have the Camaro SS to be at the go, just like last time that I always using with a C7 Corvette Stingray. Turn the engine on and let's see how the tires are about to get ready to go splash with some good different colors of paint. Alright, it's rolling max. Wait until the green. Kick it up from 0 to 60. Oh yes. Talk about having a good clear straightaway without contact. 340.8 miles per hour. Third qualified skill is good to be complete. 109,000 points is going to be quite putting up with 400 instead. That is the art of drag racing, people. Later for the next day, let's get ready to start out for having 6 events after spending 3 skills is going to be well checked for having some practice for some qualifying warm-up. First up, 2 events taking place on Golden Hills Racetrack for the Pagani Sana R in the touring car discipline and the KTM Expo R on the Alpha Grand Prix discipline. So let's head on over to be in the Chain Bug Cup in the Sana R and get yourself prepared to have a nice starting grid for only 8 cars to have a good pro racing competition. Originally, I just also brought the Sana R is going to be putting up with a preparation, but it doesn't need to have a livery design for this car because it's all made out of carbon fiber. Only in Gran Turismo Sport to be well customized to choose any kinds of specific colors and decals whenever you want. Performance level to be at 320 to be in the max, 248 miles per hour at the top speed, 947 horsepower is good to go, but originally to be on the rating at 260 that comes includes with a 750 horsepower and a top speed of 247 miles per hour. Single GTX race car is about to be ready to go in to be in the last position, so let's go over onto the Chain Bug Cup onto the different track layout. Alright, here I go. First event. Let's do this. Let's bring the Sana home over onto first place.
Fingers are crossed.
There we go. Stay on the good lineup at the right side. There's clearance. Gonna have to go right in. Gonna have to take a good clear overtake. Alright, first sector is now getting closer onto the checkpoint. Now moving on into Sector 2. From the first installment of the crew was actually includes as a circuit spec for the Pagani Sana R was actually to be well recommended if you already got a Pagani Sana F version, but it is also to be labeled as a hypercar discipline in the crew too. Depends on which kinds of letters in the Sana model was actually quite well designed to be debuted in 2000. You guys remember Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, right? The Pagani Sana F is actually becomes a very good road version to be well driving around onto the open roads, but especially some previous type of Sana models was actually to be debuted and mentioned from GT3 A-Spec. But it is going to be quite complicated to see which kind of specific versions of the Sana was actually made in 2000. Different performance maybe quite comes in by having a good different selection for every Gran Turismo players who actually played Gran Turismo 3 back then. Years later, the Sana R becomes a very good race car to be part of the touring car discipline in the crew too. But that is going to be quite good to have a nice engine sound to be well different. Gonna have to kick it up onto the high gear. Going faster to the limit to use the nitro. Stay on track. Checkpoint clear. 10 seconds onto the length of the gap. Close call. 60% in the progression. Currently towards the end of the second lap. Alright, final lap, here I come. Stay on track and make a good focus onto the podium. So this is going to be quite good to have an interior view to be giving a good differences. Just like any other racing games like Forza Motorsport, Need for Speed Shift, and other racing games like the Crew 2. Especially Gran Turismo Series was actually debuted in GT5 back in 2010. A single race car is perfectly to be recommended to be well used for taking part on any specific events to be part of racing category in every Gran Turismo games. But to be honest, a Group X car in GT Sport is perfectly to be labeled as a one-make category. But it doesn't show which kind of the racing car class is actually to be part of. My guess is GTX for the Pagani Sana R to be labeled as a 2009 model as well. Final stretch, here I come. Hit the nitro and make my way to be in the podium. Perfect. Fast Tourist, first place to be on the top 3 position. So let's see the outcome performance. Not a problem. But the good news is, 7 reward category is going to be well earned. So I'm about to go again for having attempt number 2. This time, gonna have to go like a pro to have a good focus, because without having nitro, that would be quite good to have a FIA racing material. Only in the Crew 2, however, we could probably have to go for the nitro whenever we'd like to use to improve our activity performance.
Go, go, go!
So let's try this again. Oh boy, looks like there's another Sana comes in. Barely make a good dodge. Alright. Let's pass through and master every corners to be well performance. Fourth gear, coming in onto the next hairpin. Very good. Now, the strategy is going to be much perfect whenever you're going to have to use the nitro to climb up onto the 100,000 points. Sector 2 clear. Take that hairpin turn and go over onto the next turn. 90-degree angle. That would be a pretty interesting guess. Checkpoint clear. Lap number 1 is going to be coming towards the end. 6 seconds behind the range of the gap. 34%, now increased at 37% in the progression. Alright. Master corner to use the apex. That's how improvements of a pro racing is perfectly well fitted to be part of the touring car discipline for the Sana R. But it may be well include with some vanities, because the Sana R might be quite putting up with some different outfit cosmetics. Is going to be might need to do some different appearances. But no need to have a livery design for this car. Only in Gran Turismo Sport, by the way. Especially from any other racing games, is going to be well used onto some different livery designs. Time to boost them up. Coming in onto the final sector. Alright, lap number 3, final lap. Gonna have to ace that course. Doing a lot of practice all day without having an ordinary event on free mode. 18 seconds. Still got this in the bag, folks. One single race gives a good improvement. Okay, checkpoint clear. Currently in Sector 3. And now, Sector 4 will be doing a final run. Ooh, so close, but still got it for having a most finest perfect corner. And there you go. First place, 3 minutes, 19.399 seconds. Absolutely might be giving a job well done. But here it goes for the update by nearly towards 100,000 points. I could probably have to take 4 parts on 3 common and a single rare. First event clear checked. Now moving on to take part onto the Alpha Grand Prix discipline for the KTM Expo R. Second vehicle to be on the restriction will be taking place on a tour with Alexis. That would be good to see how UDRS Insportec will be ready to enter to participate for having a tour. So I'm about to choose my livery design and participate and go over onto the last place to be in the starting grid. Alright, Alexis, time to get ready to have a one-on-one race with your students. Let's get it on.
I'll stop talking so you can start driving.
Okay, gonna have to dive in onto turn 1 without having a contact. Just gonna have to take a lot of good successful efforts out there since I practice every day for building up with some more currency credits. Sector 1 clear, moving on into Sector 2. Alright. One single Austrian two-seater race car is going to be well fitted for taking on with 7 open-wheeler race car. That would be a much finest racing experiment for the future. Gonna have to go over onto the hairpin section. Currently in the middle of Sector 2 will be entered towards the end of the same sector. Gonna have to kick things up onto the hyperdrive boost. Entered Sector 3. Very good job. Very well capable for having a standard version of the Albert Grand Prix edition. Just like the Spirit Racing version of the same car in the KTM Expo R was also to be introduced in the East edition of the US Speed Tour. But thank goodness you guys that you have already got your own ferry ride by purchasing onto the premium content. So I'm always in love with this car. It makes a very good standard performance without putting up with some modification with some exterior parts. Only in street racing discipline. So I've been working on with some differences between the street race and the Albert Grand Prix versions for this car was going to be quite putting up onto my wiki fandom. But it looks the same, but different specs was actually to be made similar from the first installment in the crew. Just like the Pagani Sana F and Sana R in 2 types of version is definitely might be look alike. But the Sana F might be standardly to be as a road car version. But especially for the R version of the Sana was actually to be putting in onto the track only circuit car. But it looks definitely might be putting up with some different similarities for only 2 cars. Alright, just gonna have to stay on track and keep going boosted up. Nitro Chemist is gonna be doing well extended. Okay, checkpoint clear. Now dive in onto the final corner. Here comes the final lap. Sector 2 coming right back in. I know how you guys really like this track. It was a perfect training ground for only touring car and Albert Grand Prix discipline whenever it comes in to build up with some good high valuable earnings. Only with some different bonuses on the icon points whenever I might need to build up with some more currency credits to get some more rides. That would be much extra needed if I could probably have to gain some more followers by experience. Just gonna have to stay focused on the track. Take the inside corner to be entered onto Sector 3 again. Boost them up. Wow, looks like it is going to be pretty much unstoppable for the KTM Expo R Albert Grand Prix edition. Okay, gonna have to slow down and do a short recovery. Keep going. Almost to be at 1 minute. Final stretch, here I come and kick it up onto the 8th gear to the max. Fine performance. Alright, looks like 100,000 points to be well done. 2 events on the restriction is going to be quite doing remarkable. After I got back from the mailbox to sort things out to make some more room for Legendary as a reminder. Scrapping up with some parts between the common, rare, and epic will be converted into some spare parts to be adding up with some more currency bucks for putting up with some different affixes to be switched over. Next up, Miami Racetrack for Touring Car Event number 2 will be on the roll. After taking 2 events from Golden Hill Racetrack for the Pagani Sana R and KTM Expo R in the Alpha Grand Prix edition. Speaking of which, trying out with a GT4 version of the KTM Expo is going to be much perfectly to be well driven around onto a different category to be in the track. Performance level to be at 320 and 536 horsepower with a top speed of 248 miles per hour. Handling is going semi-expert, so luckily I just took 1 lap for having a practice, so here I go. Let's try out with a GT4 version of the Expo R will be on the roll. Putting up with a nitro chemist to be well needed in case. 3 seconds, get ready to roll, and let's see how the Expo R in the GT4 class can actually take on with 7 touring cars in different car classes in the GT category.
It's saying, let's win.
Just gonna have to take the inside onto turn number 1, overtake the Corvette. First checkpoint clear onto the first part of the sector. Gonna have to stay over onto that much finest handling in the mobility. But it looks very good to be similar to the Alpha Grand Prix edition. Lighter and durable to be well capable with driving. As a race car version of the KTM Expo was actually to be fitted for the GT4 class regulation. So I also gonna have to do a little bit more test experiment on GT Sports to be as an N300 category on the road car version of the Expo R, challenging the Group 4 race car. But I just did a little bit more study research to see how a single road car can actually taking on with GT4 race cars in a different category for only 1 car to be fitted for a single test. But the hardtop of the door might be quite well included to be as a hardtop version. That would be much good to have a good inside interior view to be well protected from rain conditions. Gonna have to take a good look on the inside. But it looks the same, and putting up with some different chassis onto the inside to be used as a reinforced roll bar. Just gonna have to see how the handling is gonna be turn out well. Boost them up onto the nitro, pass through onto sector number 2 to enter to proceed. 14 seconds behind of the range of the gap. 4th gear is doing well average. Okay, here I go. Gonna have to pass through like taking on for having a sharp chicane. Slow and steady. Pass through the apexes. Now entered onto sector number 3. Almost there at the end of lap number 2. And here comes lap number 3 as the final lap. Stay on track. Just gonna have to take that right corner turn. So for this same car does not include with the livery design to be well abled, but only in the vanity items to be putting up with some good cosmetics is definitely might be turned out to have some different taste. Just like the Pagani Sana R or any other kinds of touring car disciplines that does not include with livery design to be well creative, because it is going to be much fine official for this Expo R to be in the GT4 version. But it looks very popular, by the way. Very good and well driven to be taking part onto the pro racing track. Gonna have to speed things up. Alright, coming in onto the final sector. Here comes the final stretch. Alright, looks like attempt number 1 is doing a job well done at the podium. 3 minutes and 32.980 seconds. Let's check the activity performance. 100,000 points is perfectly for the GT4 Expo R. Now that's competition to see how an Austrian sports bike turns itself into a race car. Touring car event number 2 is checked. One more TC event to go. Let's head on over to be at the Jersey Racetrack for having a Chain Bug Cup. For only one touring car will be going faster to do the best roll. If possible, whenever you're going to have to choose a bike or a touring car on every same classes is going to be quite well eligible to participate. If possible, whenever you're going to have to participate, whenever you're going to use with a motorbike or a touring car, it's going to be well selected to be in the same class onto the touring car discipline. For the dirt car that I'll be using with a Chevy Corvette C6R with a UDRS livery mixed with a Gran Turismo race modification of the Corvette 6th generation. So let's choose my favorite ride and head on over to go faster to the limit for only 3 seconds to be on the starting grid at 8th place towards first to have a nice sunset condition. Here we go. Let's hit the nitro and go faster on to the highest points.
You're gonna win this easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Okay, that was a single contact. Still got this for having a major applied overtake before entered onto the first turn. There you go. Starting out in lap number 1. Somehow later on in the next day, because taking 3 rounds is always just gonna have to do for only one event. But later on for having another day, because today is going to be Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday, but it is definitely might be doing a little bit more stress work whenever it comes in to be building up with some video clips. But I can still do some more video editing whenever I want. Just gonna have to stay focused and enter, keep trying forward, and now entered onto the final sector. This was lap number 2 and coming in on to lap number 3. 25% in the progression. Just gonna have to stay over on to the outside corner. That's more like it. Just keep going up faster for only a 7th gear. Decrease onto the 6th speed to be well reduced. Good respawn. Keep going faster and entered onto the 4th lap. 7th place opponent is about to get a little bit much nearly there. I'm about to go on for a trailblazer. Kick it up onto the nitro. Checkpoint cleared to be entered onto the next sector. There's the BMW M4. Squeezing in to have a good clear space. Alright, next lap at 50% onto the halfway mark. There they are right now. Gonna have to go over to do a 1 lap plus. Just gonna have to take the inside cornering. There you go. Now 7 opponents are entered on to 1 lap plus. Is perfectly to be well adjusted to be moving on towards the 2 minutes and 40 seconds is now going elapsed. Still got this in the bag, folks. Only 33 seconds is gonna be quite total up for only 1 lap. 34 seconds. Now here comes the next lap. 75% is now getting closer for only 25 left to go. Gonna have to keep building up. 7th gear onto the 2nd straightaway, just like the 1st straightaway. Entered on to be in the 2nd turn. Keep it up. Looks like this is going to be the 10th lap. Here I go, and let's bring that Corvette over onto the podium. Here comes Bryce in the BMW M4. Gonna have to overtake again. Clear procedure, entered onto the 2nd turn. Pass over onto the checkpoint, and here comes the finish line for UDRS, where the Gran Turismo theme style of the Chevy Corvette C6R is now entered for having a first place at the podium. Fast Tourist is absolutely complete. Oh yeah, 100,000 points is well achieved for only under 4 minutes. 3 minutes and 54. Okay, that was a close call because the frame rate is actually just gets a little bit more lagging. Alright, 3 touring car events complete. Next up, for the second Alpha Grand Prix event to be on the mix, Miami Harbor is now ready to start out for a temporary event on the street race disciplines. So let's see which Alpha Grand Prix race car should I have to go with. But I'm always going to have to go with a KTM Expo R, with the Alpha Grand Prix edition in the UDRS livery was actually turns out perfectly to be racing on to a tour with Alexis. But it might have to be depends to be putting up with a Nitro Chemist is going to be much boosted to do the extended. Or what about the Yassi Design X American Petrol was actually become very good for the track tour. Same capability on the performance level of 3.8 comes in on to 1140 horsepower with a top speed of 270 miles per hour. So what do you guys think? Gonna have to go over on to the Yassi Design X American Petrol or the Expo R in the Alpha Grand Prix edition again? But what the heck, I could probably have to stick with the Expo R instead. Alright, street race event for the Alpha Grand Prix. Let's take on for only 3 laps. We'll push it to the limit.
2,
Nice.
1.
Looks like Japanese sports car. This will be going well.
Go, go, go!
Alright. Massive apply overtake. First place at the head start. Now, I hope I could probably have to do a good clean strategy whenever it comes in to be racing around on Miami Harbor. We'll be doing an excellent training course for the Alpha Grand Prix, just for temporarily in the live summit. Okay, just gonna have to keep driving around, keep on racing, stay clean on the streets, boost them up. Gonna have to take the inside onto the curb as an apex. There you go, lap number 1 clear, entered. Okay, the handling is doing well. Checkpoint clear. Passing through. Alright. Curb stones will be used as an apex. Whenever it might be possible to choose any kinds of favorite Alpha Grand Prix race cars to battle with 7 Japanese race vehicles in Pro Track. But it might have to go extreme whenever you're going to have to take a good mobility response without any mistakes. I'm still got this for having a good high roll until 1 lap plus to be on the Trailblazer. Slow it steady. Checkpoint clear. Alright. 24 seconds onto the green. Only a few more miles to go by taking several turns. Kick him up. Finish line is just right up ahead. Wow, I cannot believe it. 1 minute and 59 seconds is getting closer onto 2 minutes. With a decimal of 0.531 seconds is perfectly to be well achieved to have a good Alpha Grand Prix race car to be well selected, including the KTM Expo R and the Grand Prix Alpha Edition. So right now, 1 more event to go until 7 hours is left until Pro Track is over. Let's get started out to have a triathlon in Live Xtreme Series Episode 3. Just you wait folks, Jet Sprint, Motocross, and Touring Car is about to be ready to have a different role of a Motorsport Olympics. Let's begin to start out for the final event. We'll be choosing the first leg. Jet Sprint to be recommended by using the Proto Rocket in the UDRS in Sport Tech to be at the max performance level of 120. So I'm about to choose you. Second leg on Motocross. KTM 450 EXC will be ready to do some more intense stunt onto the port. And for the final leg, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to be recently using 3 touring cars to be well fitted for the Nitro Chemist. But how about a motorbike will be doing a final leg? That would be a very good idea to see a 2-wheeler will be doing a good sprint run to be part onto the streets of Los Angeles. So I'm about to choose the 1190 RCA R-Track manufactured by KTM is now raring to go for only a good starting position in 3 legs. Let's do this.
It's time for some of those California dreams to come true, as proven racers and ambitious newcomers battle it out in the 3rd stop of the live Xtreme Series. It's non-stop action like you've never seen it before.
Hello, California. Hyperion-Blue-GT is ready to start the spotlight. Let's go.
Do you like speed? We've got it. Do you want to see jet sprint boats zipping their way through twisty passages? We've got that too. Do you like supercars on the streets of Los Angeles? Have we got something for you?
Alright. Now gonna have to go over onto the right side after passing the checkpoint. Going in to take the U-turn at the hairpin. Boost them up on the rudders. Coming in and take a good slow and maintain formation. Alright, time to slow down and get a little bit much crowded out there to be on the yacht. Here comes the jump. There you go.
Time for some pure speed there. And those cruise ship passengers are getting quite the view.
Alright, looks like the rocket is going faster to take the lead. Coming in to take the final stretch until moving on into leg number 2, people. Finish line for jet sprint. Now it's time to go on for the motocross.
Let's see what they have ready for us next.
Let's go on to do some parkour technique on the driving style. Alright, coming in on to the freighter ship. Keep going over onto the ramp jump. Oh boy, that was so close.
Are you kidding me? From a boat to a roof and from a roof to the ground. Now there's a leap of faith for you.
Haha. Well, talk about having a different assassin crew, right? I could probably have to do this kind of a stunt event all day to be in the 2nd leg onto the 3rd episode.
Over the river and onto a port full of containers. Those guys have no fear.
Alright, looks like just gonna have to stay over onto this main area. Checkpoint clear. Keep crossing in to take the next turn. Stay on track. Just keep on driving and skid around for only 2-wheeler. Feels like back in the full walkthrough, folks. I could probably have to do this again. It looks very good and comes in to do the extreme. Solid landing. Slide it in, left turn, entered onto the right. Only a few more miles to go before at the end of the 2nd leg. Time for the shortcut and comes over to do an early finish line. Let's go fast.
Final leg, let's go all out.
Pro racing in the motorbike.
It's not every day you get to see these kind of cars going full throttle along the LA River. Viewers, remember, you can vote on social media to tell us who, according to you, is the driver of drivers in this year's live Xtreme Series.
Now for the best start to be using for the motorbike. It looks very good to be extreme to be driving around onto the streets of Los Angeles. Doing some leaning positions on taking turns is different role by using a car to be well driven to be on the inside of the apexes. Luckily, comparison will have to give a different matter that I just working so hard back in my full walkthrough to be taking part in the 3rd episode of Live Xtreme Series. Right about now, Live Summon makes a different ways we'll have to go faster to have a good record point to be racking up onto the 100,000 points until the final event onto the 9th. Passing through onto the next checkpoint to be at the left turn, right turn to have that good leaning position.
It's the last stretch of this race, a very technical section where drivers must keep their focus.
That was a close call. Gonna have to take the uphill onto the hills of Hollywood. 87% in the progression. I still got this, folks. Let's see how the KTM 1190 RC8 track is going to be well driven to do the 3rd final leg. Corner perfection. Now just gonna have to skid right over here. Next turn at the right. Nitro full. We're almost there. And here comes the final stretch to be in the finish line. Yeah. That was a very good, excellent
From
motorbike
sunny
win.
California, this was the 3rd race in the Live Xtreme Series. We're mid-season, and plenty of racers are making a case for why they should be crowned head of the series. So keep following us and your favorite drivers. We'll see you at race number 4.
Okay, so for the cutscene by using a motorbike looks absolutely drifting, but only on touring cars is going to be well driven around to see it, but motorbike can actually do some less drifting, but it's definitely look differently, of course. So right now, the 9th event is going to be a job well done. 5 pro racing events on Albert Grand Prix and touring car disciplines, including episode 3 of Live Xtreme Series to be in the 3-leg competition. Plus 3 skills in the qualifier equals a platinum rank is going to be climbing up onto 1 million points in rank 6,170 place. Well, I guess this is pretty excellent out there, folks. Pro Track is a different competition whenever you're going to have to use for touring car and Albert Grand Prix disciplines to be raced over onto the track. For the mixed event on Miami Harbor to be temporarily for the Albert Grand Prix, it looks very good and obvious to see how the course layout is going to be much different without the barriers. Challenging 7 street race vehicles with Japanese car brands is actually turns out to become brilliant and almost barely had the chance to form a trailblazer by driving around onto the streets. 2 courses on the Albert Grand Prix is actually quite turns out to see the differences between the pro racing track or without having a barriers to be temporarily onto the street race event. But it looks definitely might be quite excellent for only 3 touring car events by choosing 3 different rides onto the same category. So right now, Pro Track is going to be finished until the event is over on 6 hours left. 1 more event to go for the next Live Summit event. Time to go in onto the flashback will be traveled back over onto the 1980s. But speaking of which, 80 Styles gives a good retrospective moments to have a new reward is going to be the retro gaming rooftop. Speaking of gamers, let's have a good look for the preview to see which vehicle is going to be restricted in the next event. The Lancia Delta S4, Ferrari F40, and a Demolition Derby bulk manufactured by Fender. Alright, and also for the mixed event to be temporarily to be using with the rally raid discipline to be on the motorbike to be taking part in the freestyle event. Perfect. That would be quite good to have off-road events, 1 street race, Albert Grand Prix, and for only a single Demolition Derby discipline is now putting up with a different reward to be included with 7 bundle as well. Along with the Rallycross is doing the same category, but that would be quite giving a good moments will be flashback over onto the 1980s. But there will be another new event is going to be featured by tomorrow. just like Icy Xmas back in December 2021, and it's going to be much pixelated to be driving around to be set in place at Miami Racetrack. And it's going to be a retrospective moment to see how Albert Grand Prix can actually race around in a different course layout. But it's going to be a lot of fun whenever we have to try out for this new event by listening to the sound of the 16-bit video game background music. First Live Summon in 2022 is doing a good job, but also to be having some skipping parts with a glitch is definitely might be went average, but it's okay. A wrap up will be giving a cue until at the end of the video. Here comes a new one. Thank you for watching on my video in the Crew 2 folks. I hope you enjoyed. Just go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, and click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. And don't forget to follow me on any social media platforms like DeviantArt, Instagram, GT Planet, Twitter, and more to see for my own image artwork like UDRS livery, Total Drama fan art with card liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be see you guys next time on the live summon event in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.